Good evening and welcome to episode 4 of the LifeWire Gaming Show. This week we plan to talk about our most mind-blowing moments in gaming history. Dylan is going to give us his impressions of Valheim while he's got beer on his mustache. And we are going to discuss the surprise Destiny mission that we got this week. If we don't run out of time as usual, we're also going to touch on the games that we're most looking forward to. And none of them appeared on Nintendo's Direct last night. Anyway, how's everybody?
Appeared on Nintendo's Direct
nothing appeared on it. Lots appeared on it, just nothing that we're interested in.
It was just a red screen for 50 minutes, let's be real.
But anyway, how are we all this week?
Good. No pizzas on the way, so I'll be here for the full session.
Yeah, sure.
We want to be. We paid for it.
Unless someone has Rogue ordered me a pizza. And I'll get an angry man being like, I don't know where our address is.
That's Etsky.
It's the same place.
It was Etsky. Yeah. Anyway, what have we been up to this week? Stephen, what have you been doing this week?
This week has been busy for me just in life in general, so I didn't get to do a lot. But one thing that I did start doing, kind of on the back of us talking about our backlog and stuff, was I started playing Final Fantasy 12 again, because that's one I've tried 3 times and I've just stopped.
Nerd.
So I decided I'm gonna be good and I'm gonna put that on and tap away at it. And the great thing for me is that because I can Steam link it, I can play it on a laptop.
Nice.
Nice.
So I can just play it on the laptop, get all the great benefits out of it, and just kind of blast through it. And it has speed is enabled on it, so you can run it at like 2 to 4 times speed, so you don't have to grind endlessly. And so that's kind of been what I've been up to. It hasn't been a lot gaming wise, unfortunately. But
what type was 12? Was that turn based or
it was
that
it was
the
kind of
MMO
starting-
version?
No, 11 was the MMO and 14.
Okay.
12 was the start of when they were trying to move into the more actiony one. So it's this half action, half turn based, where you have like a system where priorities of attack, and you can stop it during attacks to put in a new command and stuff like that. But it was the move away from turn based into more real time.
Okay.
So it's
Nice.
interesting. The graphics are piss poor.
See,
Even with-
that's what I find hard. It's like it's great going through the backlog and attempting these games, but you can say what you want about I don't care how graphically like down it is, but it does get to you after a while, especially if it's framey. It's just it's horrible.
It's actually not too framey. That's not too bad. The funniest thing is that it's, it doesn't matter how many pixels you put into it. A polygon is still a polygon. So like all the women are like, "Nyeh." It's like, oh hey, it's 4K, but it's still a polygon.
4K Lara Croft from 1996.
It goes from a triangle to being a cube.
A triangle with a shadow on it.
Triangle with a shadow.
What about you, Kev? What have you been with?
I actually was really thinking about this, and I was like, I've done nothing in the last week, but I have. All I've done is play Destiny.
And you haven't said that in a while.
No, and I haven't said that in a while. Yeah. But this was me who was saying last week, I'm not really looking forward to this season. I reckon I've pumped in about 200 hours in the last 2 weeks alone.
Nice.
So last Thursday we were talking about Trials was on the next day, which I also said I wasn't going to play, and I played about 90 games last weekend because it was actually
hours.
It was actually quite fun. So I played a lot of Trials at the weekend. Got the flawless, of course. Got myself my messenger, which I don't like because it's a pulse rifle and not a hand cannon, and all my friends use hand cannons. Apart from that, I did a bit more of my shiny encounter hunting.
What are we on now?
I think 851. So I haven't done a whole lot so far on that one. But yeah, it's really it's been a Destiny week. And then we'll talk about it in a bit, but we also got that nice surprise mission on Tuesday. That we were, to me, the guys started up at nightfall, and flew through it to get our palindromes, which we all got, which was fantastic. And then we started another one, and at the very start, Chaotix goes, "Secret mission in the Nightfall, huh?" So that's where it started. Yeah, it was. We'll talk about that in a bit, but that was a good mission. But yeah, been a lot of trials, a lot of Nightfall farming. I think I've done something like 30 Nightfalls this week already, and that was only in 2 days. So I still haven't got a good palindrome roll.
Still haven't got one, yeah.
No.
But you think that's a good way to approach a new season? Like, obviously, it's great to be excited about something, but just to tone down this is the be all and end all. This has to be great, or I'm not going to play it for another while.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just go in and actually enjoy the content without having those high expectations.
Now,
yeah.
On the flip side of that, though, I went in with no expectations for this season, and this season's been fantastic so far. Yeah. Like, trials are going to taper off in a couple of weeks when there's 120k players and 60k of them are cheating again. But like, in terms of just content, it's been a great season to start off. Like, Battlegrounds is fun. It's not fantastic, but that secret mission was as good as anything they've released since the Prophecy
Zero
Dungeon.
Hour, isn't it?
Since the Prophecy Dungeon. The Prophecy Dungeon is probably the best thing they've released closest to this. And it was this was just dropped out of nowhere. And yeah, it was a nice surprise. We'll get back to that. Dylan!
Yay!
We know what you've been doing this week, so why don't you tell us all about what you've been doing this week?
This shit. So this week started, we got to Diamond on Apex, actually. That was over the weekend. That was the last time we've touched it as well. I jumped in Etski's backpack and enjoyed the ride, going like little baby Grogu hanging onto Mandalorian's hip. Hug the balls is one thing we quote on the regular. And then I got a nice gifted game on Steam one day from Etski of Valheim. And I have never played a survival hunt, procedurally generated game like that. And I was kind of like, I'll play it because we're playing it together. And it's one of those things that it's more fun with friends rather than playing it yourself. And I have not put it down since. Like if you look at my Steam hours, it's ridiculous. It's definitely in triple digits over the last few days. Like, it's crazy. The amount of work you put into it. It's not like, to me, I feel like when you compare it to a game like Sea of Thieves, where it takes like an hour to an hour and a half to fully get ready for a sail for the day, and it's not something you can just pick up for another hour to say, I'll be done then. Whereas with this, you can kind of jump in. You have so much to do, but it's not it's grindy in a way, but it doesn't feel like it because it's so rewarding when you do what you have to do. Like, for example, you can go in, you can make the smallest of bases and go there's 5 boss fights. You can go craft your weapons, upgrade your weapons from stone to bronze to whatever else is after that. That's the stage we're at. And go to the boss fights. Or you can literally build a village and ignore all that kind of story stuff that's beside it as well. But we're doing a bit of both, and it's so satisfying. So satisfying. Like, if you die, you lose everything that you're holding. And
the man doesn't like Dark Souls.
But because I've never played a survival game like that, it was so infuriating at the start, and I was like, oh my god, how am I going to do this? But if you go back to your body, you pick up your stuff. But it happened to me last night. We were playing it. We logged into a new server. I was miles away from camp in a boat, and I went down the smallest river on a big wide Viking boat, and I started taking damage because we were in the mountainous area, and we haven't got the armor to go into that area yet. There's me trying to U-turn in a big fucking boat with no wind, and died. And this place was miles away from where we are, and my levels of frustration were just rising and rising. But you get back, you get your stuff, you continue on what you're doing, and you forget about it 5 minutes later. Like, it's not detrimental to your experience. Like, at the end of the day, you lose your stuff, you can make more. Like, it's such an enjoyable experience. I don't know what it is.
It's been going absolutely fucking gangbusters on.
Yeah,
like, everyone's raving about it.
Graphically, it's okay. Like, it's World of Warcraft level graphics, a little bit better.
Better than Apex on Switch.
probably better than Apex on Switch. But no, I don't even know what it is about it. It's so fun. Like there's 3 of us in the server at the moment. We're gonna open it up soon. We're just getting like an establishment for ourselves, and then kind of go off of that. But no 2 people's game is the same, and I love that aspect of it because nothing's spoiled. Because if you see someone else's map, and the map is fucking huge, like you look at it and you think you've explored so much because it's one of those maps where the clouds kind of diminish as you go over that area. You look at that, you zoom out, you zoom out, you zoom out, and you are literally a speck. And it's just like, holy shit, this game is massive.
It's the Sean Murray E3 experience.
It's what it feels on that caliber of what was that game called? No Man's Sky, where it's just feels endless, and it's one of those things you can do it at your own pace. The boss fights are great. Like the first one was Ektir, I think it was. So basically, you get a certain item to summon a boss at like a ritual circle. That boss gives you, for want of a better word, a super. So I think the first one gives you like an extra 60% stamina and running speed or something like that. And then the next boss after that gives you like double time on chopping down trees and stuff and foraging and that kind of thing. So it's great. Like I can't pinpoint one thing that I love about it, but you literally log in, you think an hour or 2 has passed, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
Is that something that you'd be interested in, Stephen?
No.
That kind of game, no.
I'm terrible at trying to sell games, but
no, it's not you. It's not that you can't sell it. It's the actual like that idea of doing so much and then dying and losing it all really stresses me out that I can't enjoy the game. And I have that with Dark Souls a lot. But I know with Dark Souls, it's like, and that's a question I was going to ask. Is so in Valheim, then is it you and whoever else you're in with, so you and Etsky, or is it open to the public? So I could come in and just go, fuck you, kill Etsky, and then you lose everything.
Yeah, you have the ability to turn PvP on or off for yourself. So it's not as if the owner of that server can say, right, today we're going PvP. It's if you choose to opt in, you choose to opt in. If you don't want it, you don't want it. And today we discovered there's a thing you can get. So if you're in a communal server, which it's going to be, your stuff is going to be able to be accessed by everybody in that server because it's not going to detect who's friendly or foe. So you can get this, I think it's called a mana, and it basically puts a spell on your compound, so only you can access your locks and chests and all that kind of stuff, which is cool. So it can still be a friendly space, but at the same time, I grinded X amount of hours for this specific thing, so I want to keep this for myself. But in the terms of losing your stuff, this is my first experience of a game like that, where it feels like, holy shit, I've spent the last 2 days trying to get this. I got this, and now I lost this. Someone else can just make it for you 2 minutes later. Like, it's so dense with materials. Like, for example, to make a bronze axe or a bronze sword, you need copper and tin. Put it in a smelter, make bronze. There's copper and tin deposits literally 500 meters from wherever you walk. So it's not as if, holy shit, I've spent 2 days doing this. It's such a waste. I have to start all over again. You could have the same piece of material in a half an hour, you know? So I think that was kind of something that was such a shock for me at the start that I've kind of accepted as it went on. It's like, if worse comes to worse, you lose your stuff. It'll just take a couple of sessions to get back into it. But yeah, there's 5, I think it's still in early access, so I think there's only 5 bosses to do.
Yeah.
But there's so much to explore. Like, you can only see the bosses when you find the rune stones. So we only know where 2 of them are in this specific server. So the third one could be another 3 years that way. So in between that, we're doing much more exploring and kind of trying to up our equipment. Like, all our houses and stuff are still wood. Like, you can build stone castles eventually. So every time you find something new, it upgrades your kind of crafting bench to, oh look, you can now make this, or you can make this. But there's loads of secrets thrown in as well. There's caves as well thrown around with like Skelly's garden and stuff like that. Your base gets raided by the forest every now and again. So these little grumplings or grey dwarfs come out at nighttime some nights. It'll say like the forest is moving, and then you basically have to defend in like a wave defense kind of thing. But yeah, it's really cool. Really enjoying it. So
no, sounds good, but I just don't know how much I'd be into it.
Yeah,
I was the exact same
for me.
And it felt like it's not something that I could go and switch on myself. It's like I'd have to know that people are coming on or I'm playing it with
I hear
people
you,
because
Yeah.
you're logging in, you don't know what you want to do, and then you're like, I'm just gonna build for a bit. I'm gonna like today this afternoon we were building a dock for a boat and stuff like that. That took about 3 hours. Like it's one of those. I'll log on for an hour, and then it was 3 hours later, and you're like, you just get so into it. It's a great game.
Yeah. I know a lot of people, like everyone's playing like One Tangle, Griff, all them guys are all playing it as well. Obviously in a different server to you because you just end up killing each other. But like,
Yeah, they were I think Etsky said he was talking to One Tangle and they were way ahead in terms of bosses for us.
See,
so there's no
they've
point.
all played Arc together and that sort of stuff together.
Yeah,
Again, it's just they're games that I'm just personally not interested in playing.
And like that with Arc, I think I played like a half an hour or so, and I watched Arando playing it a few times, and it was just something that I couldn't understand. It's one of those, if someone is showing you and trying to explain to you what to do, you don't really get it. Like you're literally looking at chests full of fucking randomly named things, and you're like, this makes this makes that, and you're kind of like,
you're nearly better off.
Get your head around it.
You're nearly better off just experiencing it, like.
And that,
for the first time together, rather than have someone say, "This is what this does." This, you're better off just finding out stuff together.
Yeah, and it is just one of those. Once you experience it yourself, it's a different ball game.
Yeah,
that's what I've been up to.
It's done a madness on social media and through games. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's playing it. It came out of nowhere.
And it feels like it's going to be one of those things that you play for a while, you get fed up with, and it's fine. But at the moment, it's an experience that I'm happy to participate in.
It's Fall Guys Part 3.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I wanted to play more Destiny, but it's just it sucks you in.
As you've mentioned it, we might as well segue into it.
Destiny, yes.
That secret mission that dropped out of nowhere that I talked about. We did it yesterday, the three of us, and we recorded it. So while we're talking about it, I shall stream it in and we shall
CB die various times.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, so I did it when it dropped straight away on Tuesday. And yeah, just getting this playing properly. Come on, just play it. There we go. Right, it's playing. So, what did you guys think of it yesterday when you ran through it, Stephen?
Yeah, so I was scrolling Reddit and I saw someone just put up a post called "Secret Mission." I was like, "What?" And looked it up and went, "Okay, Nightfall. Jump in, do the bit you need to do." Did a Nightfall, died instantly. Went, "Okay, I'll party up and do it." So I ran through it solo for a while, and
I forgot you did that actually. Yeah,
and I love it. I love that horror aesthetic. I love the atmosphere it's created. I love all the little bits all the lovely little touches, and even the new mechanics, like bringing in new mechanics, even putting a story into it. Like you're told this is why you're here, and this is what you need to do, which things like Whispered Worm didn't really have building up to it, but this one did, and then you knew what you were looking for and what you were trying to do. But then you're just dropped into it. You're not told where to go, how to do it. There's very few waypoints, and I just love the whole thing overall. So
yeah. So for anyone who hasn't played it, full spoilers by the way, soz. So basically, you're doing the Nightfall this week, which is the arms dealer on Earth. It's the arms dealer, and at the very beginning, there was a door you could go through in a Red War mission, but that was open, and there was some turrets in there, and you work your way through it, and eventually you kill a great big phalanx, I think it was. And
Loyalist to Keitel.
Yes, it was Loyalist to Keitel, who is the seasonal villain, inverted commas, because they're not. It's a bit of a loose term on this one. But there was a beacon there that you found. It was a distress beacon, and you bring that back to Zavala, I think it was, Vuvuzela. And it was a distress beacon to this ship, which was in Tangle Shore's orbit. It went missing. The lore is that it went missing during when
The darkness
the darkness came and took everything, and Mars disappeared, and this went missing. And a guardian sent out a distress signal, and we had to go and, well, try find them.
De-stress
Really,
the signal.
the Glycon, which is what it's called. Thank you, stream, for showing me that right now when I needed it. The Glycon is, nice and simple way to put it, it's a ghost ship. And you're told quite early by Osiris that you're not the only ones on board. So you start working your way through it, and it's quite eerie. It's it's got Alien Isolation vibes. And then you start finding screebs, which are about to pop up right here for me. Oh, there, Dylan died. But
count one.
yeah, count one. So you start working your way through this ghost ship, and there's screebs, and they're corrupted. And then you start hearing noises, and yeah, you work your way to the end, and is it a corrupted Scorn Vandal? I think it is. Oversized Scorn Vandal. I can't think of the name of it right now because it was Locust, something of Locust.
Locust of Communion.
Locust of Communion. Thank you. Sounds like a Dark Souls boss. But yeah, it was a surprise mission. It came out of nowhere, and the reward for it was the new exotic scout rifle, which is a scout rifle. So I'm not a fan of scout rifles, so we won't talk about them.
No, it's not an exotic scout rifle. It's a devaluation of your Hawk Moon.
Oh, sorry. So yeah, I actually meant to ask that at the start of the show. Has your Hawk Moon been devalued today?
But
yeah,
it devalued for me after the first 3 or 4 Crucible games where I didn't proc the caca once. I got paracausal shots. Can
I just say, by the way,
dead.
Can I just say, by the way, I've got a really bad feeling about this. But yeah, it was an awesome mission. It had 0 hour Whisper of the Worm vibes to it without the timers, of course. It had that black spindle in D1 where you're fighting towards something. You don't know what you're fighting towards, but you're fighting towards something. You're finding your way through multiple jumping puzzles. And it was also probably our first introduction to the actual darkness and how that's gonna play out in the solar system. Yeah, I thought it was quite awesome.
That's a good point, because this is their first viewing of being in darkness territory.
The effects of it.
Yeah. The effect. That's why everything was corrupted. It was corrupted by the darkness. I'm assuming. Well, I could be completely wrong in saying that, but it's corrupted by darkness.
I know there's some lore around the Glycon about Callus was corrupting Scorn himself.
Yeah, so it tells you towards the end of the mission that Callus was trying to commune with the darkness. I don't know if it confirms that he was successful, but he was definitely trying to. Just look at the way the lighting works. It's dark, it's eerie. Like, I remember when we were running through it the first time, Kret was shitting himself. It was hilarious. Like, he was like actually shitting himself. But it was fantastic.
It was really well done.
Yeah, it was really
and like you said, Stephen, early on, it was nice that there was no kind of on-screen prompts. It was just, you're dropped in the middle of this, kind of navigate your way. You'll pick up the mechanics. I don't want to say, obviously, like with the spores and stuff like that.
Yeah, but you can go talk about the mechanics. Full spoilers for mechanics. It's
like it was nice that you get introduced to them kind of early on, and it was in a small dose compared to you're gonna have to put that with the next mechanic together, like a raid. You get them early on and then put them all together to get to the last fight.
So just for full discussion of it, there's barriers that you can't go through. You try to go through them, they damage you. But the way to get through it is by shooting spores that are nearby.
Yeah.
Very The Last of Us. But you shoot these spores and they give you a buff that allows you to traverse through these barriers. And that's the way they have puzzles. So in one room you have to shoot down the electric barrier to get through, to pull a lever, which opens a door, which leads to another lever, and then when you open that lever, opens the door down below, which allows you to shoot spores to progress to the next part of that jumping puzzle. And it's really clever the way it was done.
And all of which you get no prompts for. You basically
Nothing. Have to
walk
figure
up
it
to a
out.
lever, it says activate. You do not know what
Yeah.
that's activating. You just have to space out and try put it together as best you can.
My favorite one is where you pull the lever, Dylan, and one of the little spider turrets popped out, and you're like, it was quite great. Little bit of spin foil hat on that though. I reckon in a future raid that we are going to be using those spores in a raid encounter.
Yeah.
Do you reckon?
That it was new flora or new fauna. I don't know which one is which, but it was new
fauna on the floor.
It was new vegetation. The way you have the hive would have the there's the fallen would have, but yeah, there was the new growths on the wall, and I reckon that's corruption.
It may even become a currency or something in the next season.
Possible where we.
Or my theory was that this is our next darkness power.
That was a great theory. I love that one.
That would be a cool one.
Because if you think of I know everyone's been kind of spitballing with darkness type or darkness-esque kind of powers and abilities, and poison. That's probably one of the highly suggested ones, and the way that came across. Yeah.
Thorn.
Well, Thorn. But the way this kind of came across was that this is left over from a wave of darkness that came across the Glycon.
What you're trying to say is we're all going to become Nurgle from Warhammer 40k.
I did not understand that reference.
Stephen did.
I did.
Just go with it.
So we're all going to turn into one big Thorn.
One big Thorn. That's all it is. It's like that old Galahorn meme where the Guardians just all Galahorn.
So now be the Galathorn.
Another thing in this, the lore piece that drops. So the lore pieces are dropping one per week. So you're doing this for the next 12 weeks, FYI.
That's the data pad.
The data pads, yeah. So the one this week, I don't know if this is confirmed, but I'll bring it up anyway. The reason that all the darkness ships have left they're not there at the moment. Where are all the darkness ships gone? So basically, I think the lore, I read it on the Twitter, that the lore kind of says that the darkness ships came, they took those planets, and they peaced out. So take what
they were successful. So
it was successful.
No point hanging around a dead place.
If you want to go find all that lore, you can find it all online already. Like data miners have got it already. So if you want to look it up, but we're only going to talk about the first one, really,
as it's released.
So the one that's in the game kind of confirms that the darkness ships came along, took our planets, and left. So they can keep Mercury.
They just picked it up, dropped it into the content vault, and they'll leave it there for until we need it.
So the darkness is Bungie confirmed. Sweet.
The darkness is the banks, and Bungie are just using the vault that the darkness own for protection.
The I was going to say there.
And there's that little trap where Dylan walked in. That was brilliant. I love that I got to with that.
Yeah.
So as always in missions with Bungie and raids or whatever, we had to mess with your teammates. So we led Dill down the path, and he
was the messy
right out into space.
Yeah. Didn't see it coming. Now I should have, because Kev was like, "Hey, Dill, go in there," and then Stephen, who was about to walk in there, turns around. And I just walk right past him, knowing fully well that Stephen knew what was coming, but I wasn't fast to react to it.
So I'll just fast forward to the boss fight scene as we're going to run out of time. By the way, Stephen, I think it's quite hilarious that you got to literally the room before the boss and
then called it.
And then
so
stopped.
This is the one thing that I thought they were doing. I was like, oh, this is deadly. So when you go in, the first part you see is you're facing a closed door, and all it says is infiltrate the Glycon. You're like, okay. So you figure out where to go, and you go in, and the first lever you pull opens the big door. I was like, this would be cool if you're unlocking waypoints all the way through, so that each week, if you have to do this again, you just run directly
Don't
through.
give Bungie ideas.
That's drip-fed content on smack right there.
So I sold it. I was waiting to make dinner, and I was like, okay, I'll jump on, knowing full well I was under-leveled, wasn't going to do it. And I made it all the way to the jumping puzzle just before the boss room, not realizing it was the one before the boss room. I went, I bet you those, all those unlocks along the way, they have to be shortcuts. Do you know what? I'll just nope out now and figure out before I go any further and waste time. In case in case I get close to the boss room, I'll just nope out now. Noped out, went back in, doors
Boss room.
closed. Like, right, well that didn't fucking work. I'll leave. Did it
And I
with you
just-
guys, and then Kev goes, "So how far did you get?" I was like, "Something about like 2 hours." Like, I'll tell you when we get there. We got there, and I went, "Kev, are we near the boss room?" He goes, "Boss room is the next room."
Oh.
Like, fuck.
Can I
Deirdre,
just,
dinner's not on the table today.
just do a quick discussion
Kill a
on how
boss.
the boss mechanics worked? So basically, the boss appears in front of you, and you start doing DPS, and he pisses off down below where we can't go because it burns you. So you've got to flush the coolant through it, and that turns the downstairs in the video. You can see it's orange, and when you flush the coolant, coolant flush 1 initiated. When all 3 have been done on the panels, that turns blue, and you can go down and do the boss. I really liked that mechanic, by the way. I thought it was kind
Yeah,
of cool.
it's
It was very xenomorphy.
the boss.
Not to look
No,
at,
the
but the mechanic. It was like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
in the vents.
It's in the walls.
It's
yeah.
in the
Yeah.
walls. It's underneath the.
But that-
yeah.
That was a
It's
nice
cool.
kind of, the boss is damage gated, but there's
Yeah.
mechanics, and it's not just like his shield's gonna go up, kill this captain to take his shield down, and then
Yeah.
bullet sponge him. But
See, I don't mind when they do the damage gating the way it was done here, because it was done in 3 segments as opposed to say
Well.
Nokris, where it's fucking 3 days have gone and you're still chipping damage away.
yeah,
yeah,
it was
I thought it was
nicely
really
paced.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really cool. So I'll just fast forward to after the boss dies, and we see the final room, which was very eerie.
That was cool. Yeah, I really
That
We
enjoyed that.
see a guardian connected up to the ship, and yeah,
Via fauna.
via
Watching too
fauna,
much hentai.
and
That's
it
what
was
happened.
quite sinister. Really, the whole
Yeah.
thing. One thing we actually didn't touch on was the soundtrack of it.
Oh yeah.
The soundtrack,
Yeah.
the music on board
Really
the
well done.
ship was creepy, sinister. The whole thing was very sinister. And then, of course, here's me ruining everything by putting anarchy all over the ship, because that's just what I fucking do.
But that's the thing. Like Bungie have a great understanding of these type of missions. They really know how to create that kind of atmosphere that really immerses you into where you are now. And in this instance, it was a haunted ship, basically,
it
or
was a
a
ghost
dead
ship.
ship.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was a ghost ship in space.
So to create that kind of soundtrack to go along with it,
It was fantastic.
it came off really, really well. And the points that each kind of segment kind of kicks into a new sound, it was
There was-
done so well.
There was that bit after the first big ad clear area where you find the Guardian ship docked in, and you go out into space and jump around the corner. When the music kicked back in there, I was like, "This is phenomenal. This is it's fantastic. More
even
of
the-
this, more of this,
Yeah.
please."
The bit where that same part when you're jumping out of the hangar and go into the next one, and you get voice line.
Yes,
That
Yes.
is so well done.
and we all get different voice lines.
Yeah.
from different,
Yeah.
from different
It's-
characters. So my first time I
Yeah.
got Cade. I don't know what he said. I couldn't hear it because
Yeah.
someone was talking. The next time I got something from Gaul. I got something from Segura. So yeah.
And so the thing is, like, I know it's painfully obvious now, but they're all from dead characters. So
Yeah.
Callus is one, and so is
Someone's been on Reddit.
the Crow. No, just because I got
Steven
Callus.
is Reddit.
Yeah, no, that's actually a very good point. They're all dead characters. Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
Callus
we got
one of the
Callus.
voices?
Yeah,
So
and
Callus.
Crow.
Interesting.
The Crow one is interesting because we get it from Uldren Sov. that's the name.
Previous.
We get Uldren Sov's one, even though we have him revived. So
So the Callus one that we got could have been an iteration of one of his
However-
robots from the raid.
or he's actually dead,
Or
and any interaction we have is robots. Or
Yeah, he could. He could
and
have not
also
existed
you
at all.
said about the Crow, or Uldren Sov.
Uldren.
He is whispering Savathun's song. Okay.
So you heard it. You heard it.
I heard it. So
Yeah.
spin foil
Yeah.
hat. Before we move on from Destiny to our main topic, because we're talking a bit over time here as always, I have one question for you: how do the Cabal communicate?
Oh, this is a dad joke, isn't it?
This is a dad joke and a half.
Scion language.
Oh fuck. It's one of those moments where I wish my internet went just so I could disconnect.
Oh no, what my PC is shutting down. Oh no,
I'm
I've got
going
a
under a
virus.
bridge.
Anyway,
Oh, actually, just before we move on, have you seen the video of Lance Reddick and his?
yes,
His renditions of the memes.
What a lad!
Mm.
He's
Can we also touch
embracing
on how
Zavala's like devil on his shoulder because
Yeah.
he's nothing like Zavala.
At least now, when we get to the news later on, we may actually get a live action Lance Reddick as Vala.
Yeah, that would be incredible.
Can we also mention how Benji got a fucking 7th column with just throwing knives?
The bouncy throwing knives.
Ridiculous. And he
Top
got moved
tier
to the week.
shenanigans.
GG's. Anyway, moving on.
Hunters are just going to be nerfed next season. Thanks, Bench.
Just delete hunters and their fusion rifles.
Put them in the darkness.
That is a big topic for another day, Dill, if you want to talk about trials and how that was. But we could talk about that for fucking ages. It was fine. It was okay, apart from...
We can keep that for next week because I'm sure we'll play more over the weekend.
Yeah, it's a big conversation. Yeah. But moving on to our main topic, which Stephen suggested for this week, and that is the most mind-blowing things that we remember in gaming. So things that blew our mind. And because Stephen will probably steal my one, I'm going to go first this week.
Ooh.
And I actually have a video
Fancy.
to play alongside this because it was actually how I reacted. So I want to have my facts correct before I ruin this.
What, you're on the internet and you want your facts to be correct?
So
what
in
1997,
a game came out.
Yes.
And it was loved by gamers the worldwide. And fast forward 20 years, and they decided they were gonna remake it.
Bastard. Fucking knew you were gonna take it.
Is it Prince of Persia Sands of Time 3?
Needs the Sands of Time to get that out on time. But it was... The best way I can describe it for any non-gamer is... Imagine they tried to remake Lord of the Rings trilogy. And they remade it, and people were worried about what they were going to do. And they remade it and delivered every promise they made. That's what they did with this. So Square Enix released Final Fantasy VII in 1997. And they remade it. They're continuing to remake it. But from the announcement of the remake to the gameplay reveal of the remake, and then the remake actually being released in April of last year, the whole thing just blew... The fact that they were able to remake this and deliver it just blew my mind. But the main blow my mind part of it was the announcement. And the announcement, I think it was Adam Boyes of Sony, was on stage at E3 in 2015 or 16. I actually have a YouTube video to play, so I'm going to start playing that with no background noise.
I think I even know the video you're on about.
Oh yeah, it's the game trailer's reaction to it, and I had the exact same reaction. It started with Adam Boyes debating. That's not letting me fucking play the thing. Anyway, that's not gonna work. So it started with Adam Boyes debating everybody by showing off World of Final Fantasy, and everyone was like, "Yeah, that looks cool." And then he looped back and kind of went, basically the whole build-up I did of a game came out in this year and they built into it, and then it was Final Fantasy VII Remake, and E3 went fucking crazy. The people in the video, the guy was literally standing on his chair, losing his shit. It was amazing. I'll link it in the description below because it's my favorite thing ever. It's just pure...
Beautiful.
How to react to an announcement 101.
Yeah, it's just pure joy. And they're kind of like, is it a TV series? What is this? And then it flashes up, you see the Cloud's Buster sword, and everyone starts to go nuts. And then it flashes up Final Fantasy VII across the screen, and they're all starting to lose their shit. And then it just pops up, remake. And it's just literal. It was like arms at a football match. It was just like, yes, this is amazing. And then the game came out 5 years later and delivered. And it's honestly it's my game of the year for 2020 that I played personally.
Yeah.
And that includes fucking Cyberpunk, by the way. And Final Fantasy the remake. I can't wait for more. We were supposed to get more news last week on more stuff, but that never materialized. But yeah, I think in recent memory, that's my biggest mind-blowing moment was the announcement of that remake. Because wow, it was just How do you remake something so beloved by nearly everyone again? Nintendo may try to one up it this year. And we will wait and see. Oh, they have trademarked
Skyward Sword, yeah.
No. Oh, no.
New motion controls.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Dave. I think they redid the rights for some other Zelda games. I don't know the 4 of them off the top of my head, but I know one of them. And it's also
and
it's also to do with time.
Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
So we'll wait and see. It is the 35th anniversary of Zelda.
That's
this
next
year.
week, isn't it?
It's pretty soon, yeah.
No, it's Mario next week.
It's Pokemon's next week.
Pokemon, then Mario. Yeah.
So, Mario was March, I think.
Could you imagine a HD remake of Ocarina? Holy shit.
Could imagine, like a full remake.
Could you imagine they fuck it up? Anyway.
Yeah.
Stephen. Yes. Stephen, what's your first mind-blowing moment? I've got 2 or 3 that I can touch on.
Okay, I've got a few. And actually, you know what? I'll go with the most obvious for me, and this is the one I thought you were going with when you started your monologue. So, in 1997, the game
1997 was a good year for games.
Hang on, I'm getting a bit of deja vu here. Did this not just get spoken about?
Older than DJP. I think I know what you're going with, though.
Yeah, this is the obvious one, so I'll start with this one. This is the first time I think most gamers our age had their heart broken. And this was... Yes, this was you're playing this high fantasy cyberpunky game and playing this badass.
We might as well. I'm sorry, Steve. We might as well just rename this the Final Fantasy VII podcast.
Yeah, and I might as well just leave because I've never played Final Fantasy.
So,
you're collecting a monitor soon.
Yeah. It's gonna be like.
Sorry, Stephen. We're commandeering your shit again.
No, it's fine. Ow. So yeah, as anyone who's played a game knows very well, there's a part where you get
full spoilers for a 24-year-old game.
Yep, you get to the Temple of Ancients because you're trying to locate your missing comrade, Ares, as she was in Europe back in 1997, not Aerith. And there's this beautiful scenery, and you find her praying, and there's this amazing cutscene where it's you, Polygon Cloud, looking up Polygon Aerith, and there's this look of love between them that you knew it was built up. Like, yeah, that's the one I want. And then all of a sudden, it cuts to Sephiroth flying through the sky, and you're like, "The fuck is this dude doing?" And then he stabs her, and then all you get is Aerith's team playing through. So if anyone knows how it goes, you have this beautiful piano arrangement just kicking in as she falls over the sword, and her hair braid comes out and drops slowly down the steps into the water to disappear, and it's fucking heartbreaking as a 7-year-old kid.
Well, that just spoiled the ending for me. Thanks for that, Stephen.
That's disc 1. That's not even the ending. That's disc 1.
That's not even the ending. It's like halfway through.
Oh, Jesus.
It's like the first 15 hours. It's the first Game of Thrones experience where they kill off the main character.
Yeah.
And they didn't even get to it in the remake.
No, not even.
Is that how much they've covered in a remake?
In the remake, they've covered the first 6 to 8 hours of it.
Yeah, the first 8 hours.
And it's a 30 to 40 hour game.
Jesus.
So
which Kev put 100 hours into.
Yeah, easily.
So Aerith dying was my first ever mind-blowing gaming moment.
But you know what? Touching on that whole Aerith thing, the game was setting up that Final Fantasy
that wears the white.
No, that's Tifa. She's the girl that wears the pink.
I was trying to get in.
So
haven't
in
seen
the
it.
game, it sets up that Aerith and Cloud are falling in love, and you love these characters. And by the way, you're progressing. You're like doing character building on this character. They've got character progression. You're leveling them up. You're upgrading their stats, and then the game kills her on you. Yeah, scumbags.
No.
I love Square Enix.
When you spend all your good currency on the
Yeah, no,
character that
basically
dies.
you spend all this XP, you're pumping XP
Yeah.
in, and then the character just dies.
Guess who I won't be pumping XP into when I eventually play the game?
But she's amazing in the game. Her abilities, she keeps everyone alive.
Oh,
I would
and
like
her ult-
without
she's got a
Aerith.
chair?
She got a chair. Without Aerith, like
This is hell in a cell.
the Gotter Damarung would have been impossible to get.
The witch?
The Gotter Damarung. Am I right in
Oh.
saying that? When you have to fight against all of the summons one after another.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, without Aerith, that would have been impossible. But yeah.
Yeah.
God damn
Still,
it, Square.
what's yours?
I like how you looked at me when you said that, because I'm obviously on the opposite side on your screen.
Yeah.
You're
So-
here to me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna bring
that's
mine
the-
a little bit closer to where we are now because one, it was amazing for me, and two, my memory is shocking.
I have a
But
feeling I know
mine,
what this is.
I don't know. Mine was Death Stranding.
Oh,
Yes. So you're in Death Stranding. It's not the intro, but you're walking along. You're traversing the
Spoilers.
desiccated wasteland of America, and you're just walking across mountains. You're literally just going from point A to point B, and the game zooms out very slowly. A piece of writing comes in the bottom of the screen, and just a piece of the soundtrack starts playing, and it's just like everyone takes the piss that it's a walking simulator, and it makes that 10 to 15 minute kind of journey just feel like wow,
Yeah.
because you're just taking in the environment, and which is beautiful, and it's just the atmosphere it sets is incredible. And I think that was the most recent game that I was I was fully immersed in the feel of the characters and why he was doing what he was doing, and looking at it as a whole rather than just like, shit, I have to take this thing to this person so this person can help this person. It was more like, shit, I'm in the deep end here. I'm the only one that has the ability to do to do what needs to be done.
DMC.
And yeah, that was one thing in that game that was really like, I literally put the controller down and stopped walking for a minute. I was just like, holy shit, that's actually amazing. And you get a taste of that from the very start of the game, I think.
You do, yeah.
Yeah, after the first kind of
The first cutscene, like that's all I've
But that-
played. That's
that
all I've
just
played of
kicks
Death
in.
Stranding.
so
sorry.
intense.
But
Yeah,
like that
no, it
first
is.
cutscene comes on, and it's just like, holy shit, Kojima, you're a genius.
But I remember it happened to me once when I was just getting
love
back
you.
to one of the main compounds, and I knew if I crossed this threshold that it would stop. So I literally just sat there for another 2 to 3 minutes, just being like, "This is incredible." Yeah. And then another thing was from that game as well was when you accidentally get seen or sighted by a BT, and what happens then. So the BTs are the people who are trapped on the beaches.
The darkness.
This is
Yeah.
full spoilers now because Kevin and I
Yeah,
have
it's-
played
it's-
this.
Okay,
No,
well,
I know what happens. I've watched it because I
Okay.
was so fascinated by it, and I still can't really play it.
So there's basically you have to traverse from point A to point B several times, and a lot.
No,
I'm
take it
not
off,
gonna go
Kev.
really.
No, it's
spoil it,
fine. It's fine.
But
Mild
along the
spoilers
way,
are fine.
you get sound prompts, and your Icar deck, I think that's Odger deck, is on your shoulder. That's the big kind of sunflower kind of beaming thing.
Super Mario Sunflower, yeah.
Yeah, but that basically notifies you that there's BTs
Aerith's
in the
flower.
area, and these are invisible. You basically crouch, and you can see their footsteps on the ground in black tar kind of thing. But if you get spotted, you're as good as fucked, because the whole area just turns into tar, and they are just pulling you under. They turn into fucking
I have seen
kind of
this.
sharks in the water and stuff like that, and it's just, you'll see random
Right.
bits of environment just come out of it. You see trucks coming out, you see boats, you see like tops of buildings, and you basically just have to run away from that area as fast as you can. You can try fight it, but you basically stun them with your Roger deck, and it's the easiest way. But it was just like there's no way you can do the same thing in that situation again. If you get caught out in a different area, it's a completely different environment. You can't say, all right, they're going to attack from this angle. There's no way of mapping what's going to happen. It's just pure chaos. And it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing.
Can I just say, as good as fucked is the most Irish way of describing something. You're as good as fucked.
Basically. Yeah. But yeah, I died several times to those guys, but each time was as good as the last, because it's just, yeah, it's one of those experiences that I haven't had in other games. Like in other games, you get overwhelmed by enemies or ads, and it's just your health tickles down, and then
a couple of anarchy shots and you're fine.
Yeah, make a circle. But yeah,
it looks like that kind of. I haven't experienced it yet. Oh, your light's gone.
Jeez, there we go. It's the BTs.
BTs, yeah.
But it looks like one of those things. It's like the imminent doom of like you could struggle out of this, but you're probably not going to. And it's that real life struggle of like you have to do it. You have to. You're trying your hardest, but you're up against everything. And I think Kojima, it looks like he captures that really well in the representation of being pulled under and just struggle that they put it. And like you got it for me for Christmas, Kevin. I'm trying to just set time
do
aside
it, Stephen.
I bought the game twice and I haven't touched it.
Like it's one of those things that when you go to the BT infected areas, that you know you're going into this environment, you can. I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a way that you can bypass the certain ones, and there's a way you can kind of traverse around it to not have to go through that. But when you're just in the setting of doing a mission, doing a postal mission, doing a medical run, nothing to do with main story, just doing some side missions, building up your rep with different vendors, it's just like shit. I am in the balls of it. I've probably got a body on my back. I've got a shit ton of weight on me. You have like a little kind of cart that comes around with you, floats with you. That's probably loaded to the ton. It's probably raining, and when it rains, it basically disintegrates the products that you have and the quality of the container that it's in. So you basically are in shit. You're basically in shit, and then these guys pop up and just turn shit into more shit, and it's great.
Okay.
Yeah, that was probably my most recent amazing gaming experience.
While we're on the topic, it was 2 years ago now.
2 years.
Yeah. While we're on the topic of Kojima, I'll touch on another mind blowing Kojima one. It's quite a famous one. But it's something that I didn't experience when I was that age, because I was a bit young to play it then, but I experienced it later. That old Psycho Mantis boss fight in MGS, in Metal Gear Solid, where you're fighting away at him, and then your controller just disconnects. And you don't have a fucking clue what you're supposed to do.
Mom!
The mechanic, dude, you may not know this, but the mechanic of the boss fight is you take your controller out of port 1, you plug it into port 2, and you can use your controller again to get the boss fight against Psycho Mantis. And just reading about that for the first time after having played Metal Gear Solid 2. I'm not going to fuck up the name this time, Sons of Liberty. And then going back, and it's just like, it's genius. Like, it's never been done. Nothing, it's pure brilliance. And like, let's be honest, we could sit here and do Kojima mind-blowing moments all night if we really wanted to. So I'm going to do one more quick one on Kojima. Him leaving Konami was fucking mind-blowing. Steven, next up.
So I'll do a quick one because I don't want to talk about it because it contains spoilers for a game I want Kev to play.
So a game came out in 1997.
I feel like I've heard this before.
So the game came out in 2017. No, I don't know what it's actually.
Not far off, because I know what game you're talking about.
It's Nier Automata, and the first time you play it, it's just this kind of general beat 'em up or hack and slash action game with this story that's really far fetched, and you kind of don't really get what's going on, but you kind of go, "Oh yeah, it's fine." And you get to the end, and ties things in. You go, okay, that's cool, but a bit weird. I don't know what's going on. And then it says, continue playing. So you go play again, but you play as the male character, who's your counterpart, 9S. And you play it again, but it plays through from the very beginning, and it's basically the same missions. It's like, I don't want to play this again,
Same
playing the
thing,
same
yeah.
missions. But I kept with it, and there's a moment, and anyone who's played it will probably know, but if you're watching the game as you're playing it, there's one moment where you go, wait, what the fuck just happened? And then from there, things start happening. You start to notice things. You watch out for more stuff. You're like, what the fuck? And then it goes on, and then you finish that one, and then more things happen. So from playthrough 2, it goes fucking mental. And the shit that happens in it and how it all unfolds is it's Kojima level shit. It's just unreal.
Okay.
And it all makes sense as well. Like once you start seeing it, you go, holy shit, how did I not notice this? And it's near automata from playthrough 2 onwards. That whole segment is mind blowing.
Full
So that's my
disclosure,
number 2.
I know exactly what mind blow moments you're talking about. I haven't played
Yeah.
it, but I know spoilers for the
You
game.
understand it, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's Kojima level.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just I was playing it with my housemate at the time, and she was watching me, and I think my reaction was like, Jen, did you?" And she goes, "What the fuck was that?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "What the fuck was that?" And it's the first time I ever used PlayStation Record, so I like recorded it for the last 5 minutes, went back to watch it, and went, "Look!" I was like, "It actually happened! What the fuck?" So yeah, so that was it. It's just mental.
Is it one of those blink and you miss it kind of
Yes,
things? Yeah.
absolutely. Yes, if you blink, you will miss it.
So you're basically, because you've had that introduction to shit, this is actually different. Are you just kind of on the edge of your seat watching?
No, I wasn't. I was just playing it and enjoying it, and you get to a part, like there's a part where you come across an alien spaceship, and it's playing out the same scene as what you saw before,
Yeah.
and then there's just one little thing that happens in the background, and you go, wait, what the fuck was that? And then that thing leads on to other things in the
Yeah.
9S storyline, and then it's
You're basically constantly trying to pick out what's changed from the last.
and then they make it more obvious. So like
Yeah.
if you miss it the first time, it becomes very obvious by the end. But it's just that little bit of like, did I really see that? Because it's just happens.
I had
but
near completely spoiled for me by the girlfriend reviews video.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Rip.
that's how I know what happened in it, because they went
Okay.
full spoilers,
Yeah.
as in
it's so
Vin
good,
Diesel
though.
spoiler levels
Vin Diesel spoilers in space.
in space. Anyway, Dylan, what's
got
your
another one?
next mind-blowing moment if you have one?
I left it at the 1 because
Okay, I can fill in for his second one, no problem.
Yeah.
So, speaking about a game that is dearly beloved to Stephen, dearly beloved.
in the year of 1997.
No,
Not quite that far
2001.
back. Not quite that
2001.
far back. 2013.
Oh.
So you start playing this mission. It's a bit tense, and then you're escaping. I'm not going to name the game yet. Yeah, something's not right. Stuff's on the news. That stuff's gone wrong. Your dad arrives back and shoots the neighbor. And then you begin escaping, and you're running up this hill. You climb over the back wall. You're going down this slope and then up a slope, and a guard stops you. And then the guard shoots at you upon orders from a superior, and you think, "Oh shit!" And then you die, and you were the daughter, and your dad's name was Joel, and that was the kill off the main character, his child, in the opening mission of a game. Was just it was just like, wait, no, she can't be dead. No, they didn't do that. And then something kind of twigs in the back of your head, like, hold on, that girl's not on the cover box, on the cover arts. And then she's dead. I did leave out most of that mission where you drive through town and there's zombies everywhere and the hospital blows up, and yeah, it's great. Joker did it, but Yeah, like when you're playing through it, there's fucking people don't tell you about when that game first came out. It was fucking gangbusters. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, this game! You must play this game. It's the best game ever." Blah 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 blah. But they don't tell you 20 minutes into your fucking playthrough that your daughter dies. I'm just like, yeah, and then
You got to be emotionally scarred
then-
in the first 20
yeah,
minutes.
like yeah,
Yeah.
like I've seen people play through like Carnage, for example, played through Last of Us Remastered before playing the second one last year when it came out, and like he'd already played through it in the past, and he was literally on stream welling up with tears.
It
Obviously,
carries
as,
that kind
obviously
of
as a
level.
father, probably has that thing,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's killing
But
off
that,
the
I
main
think
character's
back at,
daughter is fucking
I think
in
back in
not the
episode
good
2
way,
when,
but also in the
yeah.
yeah.
Back in episode 2, I think it was, we were talking about my hatred for The Last of Us. But I did say the one credit I'll give it is that it's one of the few games that like that scene made me cry. I was like, that's insane. Like to just play a game.
It was bold.
It goes from 0 to 100 very quickly.
Yeah.
And 100 being like your daughter dies, you go, fuck. Like it's just. So yeah, I will give it that. I honestly thought
it
you were
was
going with Kingdom Hearts there.
masterful storytelling.
But like
in defense of them, whether you like it or not, Stephen likes it or doesn't like it. Dill likes it a lot.
Steven's just unfound love for it.
Storytelling was phenomenal, and it kicks
Yeah.
off with a gut wrench. Sorry, what did you say you thought it was, by the way?
Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts.
Because
Yeah.
the main song to Kingdom Hearts is called Dearly Beloved.
Yeah.
So I thought that's where we're going. I was like, oh, is he gone?
But that's I think why The Last of Us came across like so kind of authentic in its
Yeah.
scenes like that, because when you watch like the behind the scenes mocap videos, like the two actors who are portraying like Ellie and Joel throughout the whole game, like those scenes, watching them in a mocap status without any context are pure like raw emotion scenes. Like it's treated like a movie or a TV show or theater. Like it's on that level of, it's not just story put into a game to give it story to make kind of X put to Z type thing. It's done really, really well.
Yeah.
Moving on swiftly from the last.
And we all
of Us.
cried.
Unless you're heartless.
Stephen.
Have you any other ones, Stephen? Blow your mind moments.
I have two more. Do you have any more, Kev?
I could go on for all night if I really wanted, but I'll do one more really quick one.
Okay, I'll do one quick one and then the one gaming moment that completely blew my mind. So the really quick one is in I think it's Assassin's Creed Revelations. When you kill the Pope, or maybe it's 2. Could be 2, maybe.
I can't remember. It's in one of
kill
that
the Pope.
in one of that Ezio.
It's the Ezio one, yeah.
Which was
You
phenomenal.
kill the
trilogy,
Pope
by the way.
and you go to get the Apple of Eden. You pick it up, and then Minerva appears, and you're like, "Oh, here's a god talking to me." But then Minerva just turns away from Ezio and just looks at the camera, and then talks to you, the player, and you're like, "Well, Desmond."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" And it's the first real like fourth wall breaking moment. It's like they recognize that Ezio's not in control. It's Desmond, and that's who's going to save the world. And that was a fucking mind blowing moment there.
And he still hasn't done it. 20 games later.
Fuck's sake, Desmond.
So that's my quick one.
What's your other one?
So my other one is this is the first real holy fucking shit moment I ever had in gaming, other than Ares dying, but this is for a different reason.
In the year 1997.
Have you noticed how Stephen calls her Eris and I call her Aerith?
Because I'm OG like that.
Oh, did she get a name change?
Right.
Or did she get a
No.
diehard fans call her one thing and
No. Okay, so her name is supposed to be Aerith because it is
A-E-R-I-T-H.
A-E-R-I-T-H because it is close in pronunciation to Earth, which is story spoilers. But in the original game, it was mistranslated from the Japanese to the English. and they put in an S instead of a TH, and they fucked up basically.
Okay.
So yes, Stephen, the floor is yours.
Thanks.
I'm
So
about
have
to
you played
finish.
Bioshock?
I didn't like Bioshock.
Did you play it all the way through?
No.
Deal?
Nope.
Okay. So
This
in
is a great
Bioshock,
moment. This is a great blow your mind moment, though.
so you know what I gotta say, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So through the whole game, you have this awful Irish accent talking to you in the name of Atlas, I think it is. I think that's his name. And he's kind of your guide. He would be saying to you, like, would you kindly go and do this and so on. He's guiding you through. He's, you make your way to Rapture and you've no idea what's going on. And this is your one friendly voice who's telling you what you need to do. And you get to whatever, I can't remember the point. I should have researched it. You get to the point in the game where I think you kill one of the people, the main guy of Rapture, and you unearth this whole conspiracy that you're actually mind controlled, and that the key to getting you to do whatever you want is the phrase "Would you kindly," which you have been hearing constantly
through it.
through the game. And the Atlas is actually, the bad guy, and he's trying to get you to kill whatever. I can't remember the details, but it's that moment where you unearth this kind of video or
The
this
sequel.
audio tape of you have been mind controlled from the start. You crash the plane, you go down to Rapture, all because you've been told, "Would you kindly?" And that's your trigger phrase. And it's so well done and so
It is
easy to
brilliant, man.
miss. And it's the first moment where I've been like, it's the first time, I guess, where your autonomy as a player has been questioned. You're like,
Am I the bad guy?
Yeah, I've been told.
Are
to
we
do
the
this the whole
baddies?
time. So that's my biggest gaming mind.
Is that the
mind-blowing
first
moment.
Bioshock?
Yeah.
That collection only recently came out on Switch.
They're very
so
enjoyable games. Not they
could
are good
potentially get
games.
checked
I
out.
just didn't enjoy the gameplay of it.
The experience of it, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy playing the game, but the story is fantastic.
Infinite is very, very good as well.
Okay. Yeah, I only saw on the Nintendo store a couple of weeks ago that it was. I don't know if it was up for pre-order or if it was up for release. But yeah, it got
What's it, like
remastered. and
€200
put on
or
Switch.
something?
Probably $279.99 with a few extra eShop Nintendo points thrown on for a good measure.
So there's
Yeah.
my mind blown moments. Kev, what's your
thought-
last one?
I thought of two extra ones while you were talking. Right, quick fire. I'll do my three quick fire. First one, GTA San Andreas, where your friends killed your mother.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking scumbags, dickheads, yeah, assholes. Second one was in. Fuck, it's going out of my head again. Fuck.
In 1997.
Not quite that. What was my second one? Shit. It's going out of my head.
What do you think of that? I got a pee.
Okay, so we didn't get it this generation from PS4 to PS5, or because we play PC games and they look phenomenal and beautiful and fuck consoles. But the jump from PS3 to PS4, I felt was humongous. And say what you want about the game itself, but graphically playing Killzone Shadow Fall for the first time, when I fired it the first time, you jump out on the train tracks and it looks out over the city. And, oh my! It was just, I was like, oh my god, games are gonna look good this generation.
Yeah.
But my last mind blowing moment, and again, we might as well just call it a different kind of podcast. Keanu Reeves at E3 for Cyberpunk was fucking great.
Wake
But
up,
yeah,
Samurai.
it was just the whole where your character's on the ground, there's like, wake the fuck up, Samurai, and it pans up and there's fucking Johnny Silverhand looking at you. And everyone was going fucking batshit crazy because Keanu Reeves is in Cyberpunk. And then he was on stage. And then just the whole, look at this! And then you're breathtaking. It was just, yeah, that was pretty great.
Well, I think it's worth mentioning that probably the greatest gaming moment ever, at least for you and I, Kev, is the the E3 announcements where you have the Avengers music playing in the background, and what was it, that was it for Anthem?
Anthem. So
I think
so I'm not gonna I'm not gonna go find it, but it's the England v Wales World Cup video where there's loads of people in the bar
In the bar,
and it's on
yeah.
the big screen, and I think it's England scored a winner and they just go. But yeah, the video is it's Anthem playing on a PS4 and it's going away, and then the game crashes and bricks the console, and that goes up the screen, and but in the background the Avengers music's playing. It's like, yeah, it's great.
that is
I love
that is
it.
the best gaming moment.
That with anything is great.
Yeah.
Right, so we are at an hour and 10, so let's try. We'll do the games we're looking forward to really quickly. We won't talk about why we're looking forward to it. We'll just give the titles of them, and then we'll do a quick bit of. We'll touch the news really quickly. We were actually sitting here on, was it Tuesday night, and like, we've no news to talk about this week. There's absolutely no news.
And then the Nintendo Direct
we got
happened.
a Nintendo Direct, and we got other stuff.
Right, and then the Nintendo Direct happened.
So there's no news again.
Anyway, games we're looking forward to. I went first on the things. Stephen went first on. Dylan, you go first.
There's one game that I'm looking forward to that recently got delayed, and it only got delayed 4 or 5 days ago, and it was supposed to come out today, funny enough. King of Seas. Probably never heard of it. It's available on PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, Epic Store, and and Nintendo Switch. It is a, what do we call it? A procedurally generated RPG.
You with your fucking procedurally generated.
I know.
It's on Steam as well, actually.
Yeah, it's basically, I looked at it as Sea of Thieves like, because I really enjoy Sea of Thieves, and it's very demanding, so that obviously wouldn't be able to make it on Switch. It's like the gameplay
It's
looks
also
like
Xbox exclusive, which is the real reason.
okay. Well, the gameplay looks like a dungeon kind of esque look down kind of method. Same as Sea of Thieves, you're a pirate on the seas. The naval officers are chasing you, and you have to do X, Y, and Z. Don't know if there's got to be mythical elements to it, but yeah, gameplay looks really cool. It's Sea of Thieves light. It scratches that I'm a pirate itch. The dog fights look actually kind of cool between the ships. But yeah, it's that typical.
Is it the co-op experience like Sea of Thieves?
No,
Oh, it's
it's
just
completely single player. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they kind of, when I saw the first trailer, it screams Switch. It completely screams it, or mobile game. But the way the dialogue is done between the characters is like the character pops up on the screen, reads from a text box, very like Nintendo-esque. But then it's PlayStation as well, and PC. But yeah, no, it looks really good. Yeah, maybe a Switch game for me.
Go, Mr. Doctor.
Strange. My two are.
He's cheating. He
are
only gave
unsurprising.
one.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's because
I have two.
Right, Dylan,
Fine,
what's your
I'll
other
go.
one?
Outriders demo's coming out 25th of February.
Click it from the chat.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
my second one.
Cool.
Yeah.
For me, it's very obviously Final Fantasy 16 and
No way!
In 1997.
Most surprising game and moments. Stephen talking about Final Fantasy.
You thought I was bad, Dylan.
And now Final Fantasy 14 Endwalker. So they're the two.
Yeah. Okay.
Which one's the MMO?
14.
Okay.
We will
So hard
eventually
keeping
try
track
it.
of them.
No, the funniest part is, Dylan, they're not even sequels to each other.
I know, they're just so
They're
convoluted. It's like,
they're all separate. They're all separate titles.
this is the third game we're making. What should we call it? I don't know, 9.
No, you joke about that. The third game they made was Final Fantasy 6 because of the naming convention they had. So no, you're not wrong.
You're not completely wrong. Right.
Kevin, go.
I'm at this weird point since finishing that game that I'm not going to mention again because it's all I talk about half the time. But
Cyberpunk 2077.
that one, imagine
it.
But I think the closest one that I'm really looking forward to is probably Ratchet and Clank for PS5. It looks fun. Ratchet and Clank is a good time. Louise is gonna steal it on me because she loves Ratchet and Clank.
That's like me.
She
with the
loves
Switch.
that kind of
Can't
game.
get on it.
Yeah. She loves that kind of game. The Crash Bandicoot, Spyro's, a game called Tie It was like the Australian.
Yes, it has
It was
been down.
amazing. Anyway, she
Yeah, I
has
remember.
she owns all of them on her Steam account and played through them at the start of lockdown last year. But hello Ty. But it's basically it's Australian Crash Bandicoot, for want of a better
Okay.
way of explaining it. But I'm looking forward to Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. It's out on June 11th, I think. But looking forward to that. Apart from that, there's like Final Fantasy 16. Obviously, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the next part of the Final Fantasy 7 remake, but they don't have release dates, so I don't really
Yeah,
say
it's
them.
hard. It's hard to put them on a kind of on a list when you know they're inevitable. You just don't have a time frame.
Yeah, like I'm excited for. I'm excited to actually try Outriders. To be quite honest with you, I'm not. I have a bad feeling about the game that it's not going to be like. Don't get me wrong. A lot of the stuff that they're doing is very pro-consumer. It's fantastic. I love all that. But the actual game itself, I have concerns about. But I'm looking forward to playing the demo. Other than that, whatever the next unannounced Pokemon game is, hopefully we hear news soon.
Next
Whether
week,
that's
yeah.
going to be a Diamond and Pearl remake, which is quite probable, I would assume, or if we're getting Generation 9. I hope they don't do Gen 9 because we don't need new Pokemon.
I don't think they're
we
gonna.
don't need new Pokemon at this stage. We just want a great experience. That's a topic that we could talk about all night. Me and Dylan will have a big argument because we'll completely disagree. But other than that, like, it's fairly light on the ground for new stuff coming out. It really is.
It's like no one wants to solidify anything because of what's going on. Because anything that gets announced will have an asterisk beside the release date because
like everything is
it could be pushed back.
Yeah, and that's why I'm more so excited for the summer of madness of announcements more than actual game releases at the moment, because there's not really anything. It's kind of like, please somebody announce something, because at the moment it's like it's fairly light, and it's kind of crazy saying that considering brand new consoles came out 3 months ago. However, I will say GameStop have got through all of their backlog of pre-orders. So if you're looking for PS5s, they're going to start appearing in the wild.
So they say. They put out the live drop today, like you said, Stephen, at 4 o'clock. And I think I read through the first 10 comments on Twitter. It was like, what the fuck? I've paid this off since September. I have not heard anything. Why are you giving my console to somebody else? Basically, copy and pasted times 10.
I think you'll find what will have actually happened with a lot of the people saying that is that they actually got refunded for their pre-order.
Probably.
And just never realized it, because that did happen to a lot. Whether that's acceptable or not is...
there's a lot.
I'm sitting here owning one, so my opinion is a moot point, as Joey would say. It's a cow's point. It doesn't matter. So... Yeah.
But it is nice to see that the availability is coming.
That Louise's brother had one in a basket today, ready for checkout, and he decided not to take the dive because he couldn't justify spending the money this week. But there's plenty there, and he got in late. There was a queue for 15 minutes before 4 o'clock. He went in at 4 and got one in his basket. So they are dropping. So hopefully people can start getting them. I don't really
during the week. And if anyone's listening to this, Curry's is currently dropping them randomly in their stores.
Yeah.
So there is a great Twitter account.
At 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, well, I work here. I'm the only one to see this. I might as well pick it up for myself.
But I don't really know what I'm looking forward to in gaming wise, to be honest, apart from just announcements. And I'm looking forward to new games getting announced, because I need something to look forward to.
Yeah.
So you weren't a fan of the Crash 4 announcement, were you? Because I know you're big into Crash. Because that comes out soon.
I've played
That came out.
No, there's another Crash coming out soon. Like
it's about time.
No? About time, yeah.
Yeah, it's already out.
That came out.
What?
That came out like 6 months
November?
ago.
I saw something today about Crash being released next month.
It's coming to Steam and Switch and Xbox next month. It came out on PlayStation 6 months ago. And by the way, that was a phenomenal game, by the way. That was really well done. They did a Vicarious Visions Toys for Bob did a fantastic job on that game.
Is it good? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. Louise has it like 98% completed. She loved it. It was
Platinum the shit out of it.
It was. They did a great job on that game. And so, If you're trying to make a sequel to games from 20 years ago, that's the blueprint. Do
That's
what
how
they
you do
did.
it.
They did a great job, but I won't get into that too much. So yeah,
Well,
it's good. Basically, I'm going to be playing Destiny for the next 6 months. I'm back.
Speaking of games from 20 years ago, Nintendo Directs and all of their
Yeah,
let's just put
right.
a HD at the end of everything.
So we'll
dubs,
touch
Gaiden.
we'll touch on the news quickly and try to keep this under an hour and a half. So
Go
that
for it.
Nintendo Direct last night was not what we wanted.
Yeah.
We had low expectations anyway. We were kind of
Yep.
making jokes in our chat, been like, "Oh, what's the most far-fetched announcement you can come up with? That's
you
never
want to
going
be
to happen."
disappointed with it. Yeah.
And mine was the Switch Pro that runs 4K natively in Cyberpunk port that carries your save over from Steam or wherever you played it. And that obviously didn't get announced.
Yeah.
But
I would have just loved a cloud game service or
Oh.
a Game Pass-esque, just something. Doesn't have to be new titles, just the availability of that
I'd love
complete
that.
backlog
I'd
available
honestly,
on your Switch.
I'd
Yeah.
honestly love that. Like a backlog so you can play Pokemon Emerald from the Game Boy Advance on your Switch. Like, just Nintendo don't need to actually
endless.
ever release a new game.
Yeah.
They could just release their whole backlog and people will be like,
Yeah.
yeah, sweet, great.
It's like
I'll,
done with
I'll pay for
the
that. I'll pay a
NES
subscription.
kind of emulators on them as well.
Yeah,
Like
they
they're
have
all
they have some of that on the Switch, but like
Yeah, it's not great.
there's such a backlog of games. Like you can see my Pokemon games right there. Like I would play all of them again on my Switch.
Yeah.
I'd love it. It'd be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it
But
was.
what we got was a lot. It felt like it was tailored more to a Western market, Eastern market.
Eastern market, yeah.
If you go West enough, you'll be.
They announced
Eastern market.
announced a lot of Nintendo games.
Yeah.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, the likes of Outer Wilds coming to Switch, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's great. I've not played that game myself, but a lot of people really highly rate that. Hades was up for a lot of Game of the Year awards last year. That's coming Switch.
That's out. It's just a
That's
physical edition.
Yeah, no, it's already out. Oh, fair enough. So that's great. That's great. But like most Legend of Zelda Wind Waker remake got announced, and
Skyward Sword.
sorry,
Skyward Sword.
imagine they had announced Wind Waker though.
Again.
But no, like Skyward Sword looked meh.
Yeah, graphical was low down on the spectrum. It was literally like they copy pasted
Yeah.
the files across without looking at them. It was
So-
Turn saturation. up.
harsh.
Like it's great that you can play it with the Joy-Con now. but
Yeah,
I'm not interested in that.
it's gonna be
personally.
a very niche player base. Yeah.
I know a lot of people who will love the shit out of that, but it was not for me. None of it was for me.
My favorite part was
the turn-based stuff was meh as well. Like I'm not into that
Yeah.
sort of stuff. I've played some in the past, but not into that. Not the way.
one thing I did like that they done was a lot of the stuff that they announced dropped as a demo
Hmm.
shortly after the announcement, which was really cool because it's like when you see yourself something that's coming out in May 2022, you're kind of like you'll forget about it
Fine with that.
by
I'm
the
fine
time you
with
see
that.
another trailer.
I can wait 7 years for a game, no problem.
In the year 1977, 1997.
1977.
But yeah,
Year
the
2013.
only one that I picked up on that I'd be excited about, and it's probably questionable, was Star Wars Hunters.
Yeah.
Mm.
In arena
Um,
shooter, it could be very, very well done or
Not
Yeah.
well done.
not well done. It could be a mobile game just on the Switch.
Yeah. That's what I think it might be.
Another good thing they done actually was the Animal Crossing crossover with Super Mario. If you play Animal Crossing, it's huge. Like, because I see someone who
fair.
plays Animal Crossing regularly, what you can do on your island with the Super Mario kind of aesthetic looks really cool. And they brought in the pipes so you can basically teleport around, which it's a cool, nice to have, not a groundbreaking announcement. But yeah.
Yeah.
You had something
What
to
are
say,
news that we
Stephen?
got? No, I'm gonna leave it till the end.
Okay.
Because it's a bit of a sidetrack.
Can I just say on the Nintendo Direct though, well, the content wasn't anything that I'm gonna get excited for personally. The way it flowed was brilliant.
Yeah.
That it was the way it flowed, the way it was put together. That was all fantastic. But the content was not for me. But the actual Direct itself was very well done. We don't hate you, Nintendo. Just announce something I want to buy off you.
But they love setting the hype. They love the whole like, now get ready for this next title. Don't forget to check this out.
Deal.
Fucking Mario playing golf.
My favorite part, and I'm gonna use it to go to the next part of the news, is
Oh yeah,
the snap.
Click.
So Bungie are opening a new Amsterdam publishing office and expanding their original one in Washington by more than
Seattle,
it's going to nearly like 3 times the size. So that's a huge expansion.
Massive investment.
Massive expansion.
Massive.
They're, in my opinion or my thoughts on it are that it's not gonna impact Destiny the game that much. Destiny's gonna just continue to be the way it is. This is gonna be Destiny expanding into other media, like
multimedia.
they're talking about.
Yeah.
Congrats to Luke Smith and Mark Noseworthy on their promotions. But this is Bungie now going, hi devs, get under our umbrella, Ella,
Yeah.
But yeah, that
Vicarious visions and all your cousins come over for a sleepover.
But yeah, no,
a
that's
really long time.
great. It's great to see Bungie having left Microsoft all those years ago, 12 or 13 years ago now, signing up with the devil in Activision and then breaking free from those chains, Kratos style. And to see them being so successful on their own is brilliant. And I love Bungie, whether they give us good content or bad content or whatever. I still love Bungie, and it's good to see them being successful. Who's applying to work in Amsterdam?
Especially touching on what they said about a month ago, was it? Basically saying that it's going to be a different year for Destiny and Bungie.
Mm-hmm.
And just that implementation, I picked that up as it's going to be very quiet, very slow. It doesn't sound exciting. And then news like this comes out and it fills you with promise. Like,
it does.
Whatever everyone says about being a dead game, but as a franchise, that's huge. Like, that's investment for years to come. Whatever you might think about them releasing the projects for Lightfall and what was the other one? Witch Queen. And then thinking, is that going to be the end for Destiny? After this, there's no way. That'll probably be the end for Destiny 2, and then it's just, yeah.
It's becoming. We're gonna get a TV series of it.
Oh yeah,
it's becoming. Yeah, like they could just spin off into other people's kind of viewpoints in the universe as a whole. It's, to me, it's like Star Wars. It's, you don't have to follow the main trajectory. You can just branch off different races, different experiences from different eyes, basically.
For what it's worth. Sorry, Stephen, go on.
No, go on.
No, you fire ahead.
No, go for it.
All right, it's a quick point. For what it's worth, they also added 2 new names to their board of directors, and the one is from CBS, Viacom CBS. So that's kind of looking at it. Is they are expanding into TV, and that's what Noseworthy and Luke Smith are going to be overseeing that transition.
Yeah.
For Kevin Feige.
Yes,
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Kevin Feige and his cap is going to be fucking swimming in it.
Yeah.
But like
Disney, it's got to be on Disney Plus. Tell you, 2025 Destiny Disney Plus.
No,
it's happening.
It'll be Peacock. Sorry, Steve. What were you saying?
Sci-fi with a Y.
Oh,
I mean, I have that channel. I wouldn't mind. Sorry, what were you saying, Stephen?
No, I'm just saying, of all the games that we play, there's very few that jump out to me as like good TV shows, and one of them is already in development. That's Final Fantasy 14. But Destiny is
it actually?
Yeah, that's in development.
Animated or live action?
I can see Destiny being animated, to be honest.
I need to check.
I don't think
I can see them going. I can see them doing that. But have you seen Corridor Digital, the YouTube channel?
You guys talk. I need a wee.
Corridor Digital are a YouTube channel, but they're also working like 3D effects and stuff. And they did some of the live action stuff for Bungie. So they created the the gear. They did the Hawk Moon and Hunter gear and stuff, and the Galahorn. But like you could absolutely make that a live action film and go through all the stories from vanilla Destiny all the way up to
Because
Life.
that's the thing. It's not as if they're gonna have a team of writers being like, "We are stumped. What direction do we go in?" It's gonna be harder to basically decipher. Shit, what do we actually pick out? What are the things we want to do? What are the focus? Oh, like
and spin it off. Like
yeah,
you could bring in Shin Malfour and go off into that old school kind of make it westernized. Like bring in the Torn and the Lumina backstory and make that its own show. There's so much you could do.
And that's the thing. It's not just what story. It's like what era do we want to do? Do we want to do pre-collapse? Do we want to do post-collapse? Do we want to do in the middle of the golden age? Yeah, there's so much that they could tap on.
Yeah,
and
I'd be all for that.
Yeah,
me too. Whatever it was.
But like that, it is one of those things that I'd like to see a lot of development time worked on, and it is nice to see, hopefully, that it is the creators that are going to be influencing it as well, because it's not just signing your franchise over to a big studio and saying enjoy, thanks for the money. It's more we don't want to put this out there if it's going to hamper the viewpoint on our franchise. We want to we want this to work as a whole and not just as a
they want a consistent universe, not just fractured like what Star Wars was before Disney came in and said,
let's put them all together and make babies.
On just back on that announcement as well, by the way, Bungie planned to release a new IP by 2025.
Yes.
So
they hired for that last year, didn't they?
Yeah, that's part of that's part of the Tencent investment a couple of years ago, but that's exciting. Hopefully it's a AAA PS5 PC.
Different direction
Xbox.
Would be nice. Completely
I just hope it's not a mobile game, which Tencent are famous
for.
But
by 2025, mobiles will be practically tablets, and then
that's fair.
Plug your Joy-Cons in.
You know what I mean, though, not the traditional kind of gotcha. But so if they want to release that by 2025, that's in development already, or pre-development at least. So that's exciting. So I'll move on. I don't have an article up for this one, so I won't show it. But part of Stadia shutting down is because Bethesda were acquired by Xbox. That's kind of a lull announcement, but not Stadia shutting down, but Stadia shutting down their first-party developers.
Their development,
It's a bit of a wild one, but yes. Moving swiftly on, Switch style. Stephen, this is something that you were kind of saying earlier, in that playing old games, no matter what they do with them, they still are framey as fuck and look this way and that way. Well, Microsoft announced an FPS boost feature on backward compatibility. That's pretty cool. It announced that it's applied to select games currently. The first 5 are Far Cry 4, New Super Lucky's Tale, Sonic the Hedgehog ripoff, Sniper Elite 4, UFC 4, and Watch Dogs 2. So what it's going to allow your consoles to do on the Series X and S is run older games, specifically at 60 FPS, and in some cases up to 120, which is great because a lot of those games were limited to 30.
And
so it's a whole new world.
Yeah.
And if they could do the same for Destiny on Xbox, I would buy an Xbox.
Oh.
Look into my eyes, Phil.
Yeah.
Look into my eyes, Phil.
Oh, I would play the shit out of. Do you remember when they announced Shadowkeep originally, and we had a group chat going, and there was a part where they showed a Cosmodrome, and I lost my shit. I thought they were bringing back Destiny 1 as just as a remaster to bring into Destiny 2. So disappointed we're not getting that. And actually,
that's
they're finished developing the Cosmodrome.
Yeah, that's not going to happen for what it's worth.
No.
So it's
I know.
just we're more likely to see Destiny 1 servers shut down in the next few years as they move as they progress with Destiny 2 into whatever the next IP or Destiny title is. But yeah, it's still a pretty cool feature. GG on that.
Yeah.
Goes back to what Dylan was talking about, Outriders demo, and they released a bit of an FAQ today, which was quite nice of them.
Yeah.
So they released
touched on everything that
yeah
anyone could basically want to know.
So it was
about
nice.
The demo.
Yeah, touched on a demo. So it's a demo, not a beta. So it is not a test our game for us, please, because we don't want to hire QA testers. It is an actual demo. You don't have to pre-order it. Thank you. It's free to
That's
play.
always nice because
It is always nice.
You're testing the waters for an eventual purchase.
Yeah. So just to confirm, it's on 25th of February in our time zone. That's at 5 p.m. So that's probably Tuesday at reset in Destiny, so it can download in the background, and then while the servers crash, I'll do some more Nightfalls. I don't know
preload.
I don't know what
either.
day it is. Yeah, it just goes live at that time on February 25th. Why is that popping up there? So yeah, they covered everything, size of it, blah blah blah. Crossplay is available in the demo, but that is in beta, so it may be iffy. So yeah, they talk about what it covered. It's the game's prologue and opening chapter, blah blah blah. And the really cool part of this is that you will be able to transfer your progress to the main game when you play it, and that's really cool that they're doing that. However, you must play it on the same platform, so you can't play it on PS5 and then go, who has a PS5? You can't play it on PS4 and then be like, oh, I'm going to transfer the demo character to Steam. No, you can't do that.
Doesn't work like that.
But
even on PC, if you have it on Steam, you can't play it via Epic. Yeah.
So it's still pretty cool. You can do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's great. Also, anyone who wants to stream it, go ahead and do it. You're not going to get shut down because EA aren't releasing this game. So yeah, that's really all of the news that I have. I don't know if you guys have any other news apart from Destiny's new mission's amazing. Go do it now.
No, the only thing I will say is we put out a tweet earlier on about gaming moments that blew people's minds, and we did get a response from God, what's the name? Jaffical?
Jaffa Cakes.
It's Jaffania. It's Jaff. He plays
Jaffaniel.
He plays the Destiny with us.
And yeah,
that's a good one.
That is a very good one. It's the moment when you find out Darth Raven's backstory after playing all of
Knights. Yeah,
Knights of the Republic. Now, and what prompted me to remember that deal was you talking about Star Wars Hunters. Now, if the Switch could bring out Knights of the Old Republic,
that would be amazing.
I'd be all over that.
Yeah,
that's a game that needs to be remade.
That was rumored.
Just ported, yeah.
That was rumored for the Nintendo Direct. KOTOR was, and it never happened.
Everything good was rumored for the Nintendo Direct, but Nintendo didn't hear those rumors, so they said, "Here's a load of Japanese RPGs. Have fun or not."
So there it is.
Here's big titty anime girls.
Demonetized. So the moment that blew Jaff's mind is Knights of the Old Republic when Darth Malak reveals Revan's past, blew my 9-year-old brain to pieces.
And it is such a good moment, and
they were really good games.
I really hope that Disney do something with that in the live action verse. I'd love to see that whole saga play out. Oh, anyway,
it's blown Steven's not 9-year-old mind right now.
30.
Yeah, I think if the Nintendo Direct had been more dense with good news.
See, it was very dense in fairness to them, but
there was a lot to announce, but a lot of
just nothing we liked.
Yeah, it wasn't for us. And by the way, Apex on Switch looks terrible.
Very bad.
A Switch Pro is needed if they're gonna continue to bring
cross save is gonna come in, so I am going for that Pred badge on Nintendo Switch just so I can equip it on my PC account.
More Pred badges than textures.
Yeah, it looked very. This is coming out on Switch. We know it's on Switch. You know it's on Switch. Temper your expectations. They could have showcased a fucking this is not a gameplay trailer video, but they took down the transparency barrier and just said, here, this is what it is. It's great having AAA titles like that come across.
Oh, 100%.
Same with
100%.
Fortnite. It's more inclusive for a community of playing on different platforms, but you can just see it's not able to process it.
It's not. And like, even like I said it today to you, like Pokemon Sword and Shield, which infamously a lot of people don't like the graphics, don't like how it looks. Even that, the Switch struggles to run that when you go into the wild area. Like the wild area on Sword and Shield is 15 FPS at max.
It's so big, and it's just trying to process that, especially with the biomes changing as well.
So hopefully Switch Pro comes soon. Hopefully.
It needs to.
I'd love it. It'd be great. It would.
I think it's in a nice time in the life cycle as well, where they are getting more AAA developers on board. We are seeing a lot more of collections coming on. Like there you have The Witcher, you have BioShock, you have Borderlands. Like they're all massive games that ran on older generational consoles. So
I really wish they'd released them Final Fantasy, like the older Final Fantasy games for Switch.
I'd probably play them.
It's the perfect. It's all of them are there.
7 and 8 and 9 definitely are. 10 is.
See, though I own 7 in like 7 different places, so including also a physical copy. But yeah,
if the original 7 came out on Switch, would it be playable for someone who hasn't played it before?
Yes.
I.e., would I enjoy it?
Yes.
If you can forgive the graphics.
But even then,
however, I will be of the opinion, knowing Dylan for who he is, you're better off playing the remake piece by piece as it comes out. Yeah. And I will give you a lend of the 7 remake and you can play it. And if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. And if not, you don't. But I'm of the opinion that apart from the side quest segments of the game, which are a bit meh, I don't know how you can't at least enjoy this game because it's brilliantly done.
Because I think we're going to be here for a while, and I might as well jump in on the Final Fantasy shenanigans.
Exactly.
Yeah. And do you know what? It has been one of those things that a lot of people talk about it. It's just one of those, I haven't experienced it for myself. And it's probably once I dip my toe in that pool, I'll be going head first.
Yeah. But it is a weird one. It is a bit niche. I will say it is a bit niche, but the 7 remake is brilliantly done.
Yeah. Like I remember watching you playing it on Twitch, and it was enjoyable in some parts, but from someone who it's like I was saying earlier on, if you're watching someone, it's very hard sometimes to engage with what's going on.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't have anything else to talk about. There are some other stuff. BlizzCon is this weekend. Yes. There is a new game Plus Expo on March the 4th. I'm just reading Jeff Grubb's list of stuff. Thanks, Jeff. Then there's nothing really till June when we've got apparently E3, and then we've got Jeff Keighley's Summer of Madness.
Summer Game Fest.
But apart from that, there's no other news that I can think about. Mortal Kombat movie got a trailer. I haven't watched it yet, but I have heard it looks pretty
fucking good. They went
go watch that
Saw level gore, and it is fucking class.
Go watch that, and we're gonna wrap up there because we're approaching that time again. So
I think next week we should hit on Trials.
We could talk about Trials.
Because we played it last week. Me and Kev played a little bit together. And I'm sure we will this weekend.
I was gonna say over the next couple of weeks I could commit to finally finishing The Last of Us Part 2, and we could actually do a full episode on that. I know, Stephen, you haven't played it, but you could discuss it because you know what happens. You could discuss it in your opinion. So we could commit to that.
Will I also put out there if we're gonna do a Trials talk, since I'm not competitive?
We are not fucking playing Trials together. Because no.
Can we? That'd be so fun.
I'm not recording that. Next podcast. No, that would be way.
You can record me just like walking out, going,
"Wow!" That would be the end of the show. We would never like each other or do this again.
You would get the signature Kev sigh, and that would be the last thing you hear.
Yeah, it's not happening.
No.
Anyway,
Fine, I'll just not talk next week.
fine.
Everyone's
This is
cheering.
Stephen's
No,
bad
we,
corner.
we can do it. We can touch on it and talk about what we
Yeah.
like and dislike and whatever, and just keep it to a 10-15 minute discussion, and yeah, move on from there. Stephen can go make a cup of tea during that time.
Yeah, so that'll be hopefully what we touch on next week. So yeah, I
so
think that's everything.
One of
for
you
today.
guys want to sign off, and I'll sit here and smile.
Yep. Your turn to sign off.
I never got the memo, but yeah, that was us for this evening on episode 4. If you like it, tune in next week when we'll be touching on Trials, and I'm sure Stephen's going to mention Final Fantasy at some point.
And hit the like and subscribe.
Yeah! Yeah, that's been us. So we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.